Hey, what's going on, people? How y'all doing today? I'm doing pretty good because I have an awesome video for you guys. You see, every year I've been trying to do 2 desk setup videos. One at the beginning of the year to show you what I'm using going into the new year, and then one at the end of the year to show you what's changed and what hasn't. Today, we're kicking off the first desk setup and what I plan on using most of 2026. I'll link everything in the description, and to be perfectly clear, these will be my affiliate links. With that being said, let's get started. Okay, so starting with the foundation of any good setup, I went with a Desky desk antique with this beautiful blue resin poured through the center of it. This is combined with a live edge, which basically means the front part of the desk keeps the original shape of the wood used. I've always wanted a resin style desk, and now that I have one, I don't think I could ever go back to a typical solid wood top. The texture and the contrast of this desk is beautiful. As for the legs, they're solid as well and easily support my triple monitor setup. They have a max weight capacity of 308.6 pounds and a height range of 23.6 inches to 49.2 inches. I also don't get any wobbles when working at my desk, which is definitely a common issue with cheaper sit-to-stand desks, especially when standing. It has several smart features that I really appreciate, such as 4 custom height presets so I can easily switch between sitting and standing with one click. There's also timer notifications to remind me to move that can be adjusted on the control panel. And it connects to an app via Bluetooth, so you can control it with your phone along with fine-tuning the standing notifications. But one of my favorite features is that it also works with Siri shortcuts, so you can control the desk using just your voice. It's crazy. I mean, check this out. Hey Siri, Desky memory 1. Since I sit at my desk for hours editing videos, coming up with concepts, replying to emails, and even gaming, having a solid sit-to-stand desk with all of these smart features is a must. Not just to stretch out my legs, but for health reasons, since sitting for long periods of time isn't good for your body. I also have a few Desky add-ons, including a hidden wireless charger, which makes charging my iPhone and Galaxy super easy and seamless. It also features a USB-A and Type-C port to charge additional devices. I also have their built-in cable management, which has been a lifesaver. I suck at cable management, and this thing makes it easy. It's a track-like system with tons of room to store cables and comes with 3 separate power strips that lock into the rails. You could easily slide them around in order to get it in the perfect position. Since I'm running a triple monitor setup, it's definitely been clutch at keeping things nice and tidy. Additionally, I have their matching desk riser that gives me plenty of space to store accessories when I'm not using them right below it. Plus, in the future, if I plan on ditching the monitor arms that I'm currently using, it works perfect with different monitor stands by providing an optimal ergonomic position. And lastly, I have the matching drawer that just screws into the bottom of the desk and gives me extra storage while matching the desk perfectly. Desky even includes this cool little divider that you can slide around for additional organization. What I love is that since these accessories are directly from Desky, they work great with this desk while matching the aesthetic perfectly. And when you have a desk as beautiful as this one, aesthetics is definitely a priority. For my chair, I'm using the autonomous AI Ergo Chair Pro 2 in cool mesh. As for comfort, it's okay. I honestly need to upgrade eventually as it's a little too wide for me, and for the price, it feels a bit cheap. For example, I'm pretty sure the armrests are not supposed to fold in this easily, which is pretty annoying. I do have to give it kudos for adjustability. It has height adjustment, 4-way armrest, a 2-way headrest, back and tilt, and you can even adjust the lumbar support with slide, tilt, and tension controls. Powering my setup, I'm running an M2 Ultra Max Studio with 4 terabytes of storage and 192 gigabytes of RAM. It's definitely overkill, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. I also have a custom-built PC with an NVIDIA RTX 4090 and an Intel i9 14900KF with 128 gigabytes of RAM for gaming and other types of projects. They give me all the flexibility I need to handle whatever content I want to create, and of course, have a little fun. For monitors, I'm running this triple monitor setup. I've got 2 studio displays paired with a Doe Spectrum Black monitor. I know the Doe monitor is super controversial and I'm not recommending it by any means. However, I purchased mine off of Amazon during a pretty decent sale. I paid $8.99 for it with the stand and it was delivered the next day. It's a 4K 240Hz OLED with dual mode, so dropping the resolution can increase the refresh rate all the way up to 480Hz, which is pretty cool. It's also one of the only monitors on the market that features Gorilla Glass, so it has this nice anti-glare factor to it while still being a glossy display. I've calibrated it so it almost perfectly matches my studio displays, and using a few apps like Better Display for scaling and Lunar for brightness controls makes it function almost as good as my Apple Studio displays, at least when using it on my Mac. It's a great monitor from a very shady company. The triple monitor combo gives me plenty of screen real estate for editing videos and productivity work. When I want to game, I simply hit the button on my KVM and it switches the Doe monitor over to my PC, allowing me to move all of my peripherals with it. Speaking of peripherals, I use the Newfie Node 100 keyboard plus a few other options depending on what I'm in the mood for. I've been on a mechanical keyboard kick lately. For the mouse, the MX Master 4 is my go-to. It's precise, responsive, and the ergonomics are fantastic. Although I don't game with it since I prefer a controller. And for that, I have an Xbox Elite 2 controller. Lastly, for video editing, I'm using the Torbox Elite Plus. This thing is the absolute GOAT for speeding up my workflow. It doesn't matter if I'm in Final Cut or Resolve, this thing has been a game changer. I've been using Torbox for several years now, and when they announced the Elite Plus with iPad and Android support, it was an instant cop. For storage, I rely on a Reiku Mac Studio Thunderbolt 5 dock, which sits nicely under my Mac Studio. It provides me with 2 NVMe slots and connects to my Mac Studio via Thunderbolt 5. It also expands the I/O of my Mac Studio by adding a few extra USB ports, a CF Express Type A and Type B card slot, giving me all the card readers I need. There's even an HDMI 2.1 port and a display port on the back of this thing. The dock also has built-in fans, which helps keep my Mac cool during long edit sessions and when I'm using it as a server. Seriously, it's one of the best pickups I've made for my Mac Studio, so if you're a creator, definitely check this thing out. For backups, I use a 28TB OWC RAID system. I've had this thing for several years now, and it's still going strong. For audio, I'm using a Focusrite Vocaster 2 as my main audio interface, paired with a Shure SM7DB on a Rode desk stand. This was a recent pickup, so let me go ahead and switch over to it now so you can tell me how this combination sounds. Okay, so now you're listening to the audio from the Shure SM7DB paired with the Focusrite Vocaster 2. Again, this was a recent pickup for me, so I'm still adjusting the settings, and I would love to hear any feedback or advice you might have to make my audio sound better. For monitoring, I'm using the Kanto Yuki speakers, and I absolutely love these things. I just picked them up a few days ago, but between the sound they produce, the compact design, this gorgeous blue colorway, and this interesting textured speckle pattern, these speakers are bangers. For editing, I'm still using the Rode NTH100M headphones. I love these things. They're super comfy, pretty neutral for editing dialogue, and have a detachable mic so they double as a gaming headset. Now finally, on the video side, I have a ton of different cameras, but for this setup specifically, I've been using the ZV-E1 that has a custom wrap on it from AlphaGuard. They offer skins for tons of cameras, lenses, and other accessories. Just a heads up, if you do decide to grab one of these skins, be prepared to put in some work to get it on. Next up is probably the best gear purchase I've made in a while, and that's the stand and mount for the ZV-E1. This is the Iron Hand camera arm, and outside of all the really ugly stickers that I still need to remove, it's incredible for creators. You can mount it to a desk using the included clamp or to a stand like the iFootage Cobra 2, which has a large weighted circular base for heavy lights and rigs. This combo allows me to put my camera in damn near any position, giving me flexibility for unboxings, B-roll, and of course on-camera shots. Plus, the Iron Hand can support heavier cameras like the R5 II and many more. The last thing I want to talk about is lighting, and for that I'm using additional iFootage Cobra 2 light stands paired with 2 Amaran Pano 120 lights, which provide really nice soft lighting without the bulk of typical light domes. Plus, they're really easy to move around and can be powered off of USB-C battery banks in a pinch. And that's a wrap. I hope you found something valuable in this breakdown and maybe even discovered a new product or two that might help you level up your workspace. If you have any questions about any of the gear I featured, want to know more details about how I use specific items, or just want to share your own setup, definitely don't hesitate to drop me a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping it a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one.